Good morning, my friends. I'm coming to you live from the Houston Quilt Festival. I thought it would be fun to give you a quick tour of some of the quilts. And you know me, because machine quilting is my thing, I'm so attracted to some of these gorgeously quilted projects. I'm kind of zooming in close first, because I am standing close to this quilt. Give you a look at some of the details and then I'll zoom out so you can see the whole thing. I don't know how many quilts to say that there are here, several hundred for sure, so we're only going to get through a fraction this morning, but I just wanted to give you a little snippet of some of the beautiful quilts that are hanging. And this one too, and I realize this attracts me as well, the asymmetrical design. There's just something about it that is so dynamic. I just love. Let's see who's chiming in. Donna, Kay, Kathy, Teresa, a few of you. I know I just scheduled this about a half an hour ago, so it wasn't much warning, was it? Kind of rainbow colored one. And then you guys tell me if this makes you dizzy. We're gonna walk around the corner because I want to show you another machine quilted one that is quite spectacular. I mean, there's one spectacular quilt after another, let's face it. But this one in particular. So this one won an award from Bernina actually, and I'll show you the award, first place, machine quilting. So let me give you a look at the quilt as a whole, and then you'll have an idea of the scale of some of this quilting. So it's about 72 inches square, maybe a little less than that. So now I'm gonna zoom in closer on some of the gorgeous quilting. Look at that. That's one of the blocks. Here's another. And the border is amazing. So you can see the color of the fabric in the feathers, kind of this slightly teal toned green, and then it's quilted in different shades of green thread. And all that color tonation is just from the thread. So I can't touch the quilt, so I can't show you, but the quilter of it was here yesterday and I was chatting with her. And she lifted up a corner of the quilt, and the backing of it is a soft apricot solid fabric, and all these green threads, oh my word, it is stunning. Look at this detail. Isn't that beautiful? Those teeny tiny feathers are about 1/4 inch wide and 1 inch or 1 inch and a bit more long. They're amazing. This is the central block with that kind of spinning background design. Look at that beautiful grid work in the top right-hand corner. So pretty. She did tell me that she created a stencil for that grid work, but I kind of had the idea looking at some of Sue Hines's grid work, for example, and you could drop the grid in place and you could freehand those flowers in, but they're just sweet as anything. Isn't that beautiful? Who was the creator of that beautiful quilt that got first place? Let's go have a look at the detail. Into the Sunshine. It was a collaboration, Patricia Heckler and quilted by Joyce Height. It is amazing. Okay, let's go look at some more. Here we go. Because I make quilts too, the piecing on this one struck me. Look at how the green shading is done. Different greens, but then when you zoom out, you just see that beautiful ombre effect. So clever. Isn't that beautiful? Some great quilting on there too. This one is made by Lois Kindley and quilted by Carolyn Baxter. Let's go look at some more details. Actually, we're near the entrance. I'm gonna show you the grand show winner. Here we come, here we come. Look at this. So we've got to get a distant view of this one first for you to really appreciate it. So you see the portrait, right? But as we zoom in closer and closer and closer, can you see the little individual mosaic tiles that make up her face? and all the colors that are in there. And there's all these hidden surprises. See the monkey under her ear? There's butterflies, there's frogs, and they are pieced. They are precision pieced in there, in those tiny little mosaic tiles. So it is the Handy Quilter Best of Show Award. That one won, and it is about 40 inches by 50, I would say, just to give you kind of an idea of size. Okay, Best of Show Award, that's what that one won. Let's go look at some more pretty quilts. There's so many, really, truly. I'm just gonna give you a smattering of them. But at least it gives you a tiny glimpse into what's hanging at the show this week. Isn't that beautiful? And this one, again, amazing quilting. So this is actually hand quilted. I'll zoom in really closely so you can see that. And it is seriously beautiful hand quilting. And so the subtle colors are just colored thread. There's embellishments, beads and sequins. And I'll zoom back a little so you can see the full effect again. It's kind of a panoramic style, so I can't get it all in one shot easily. But see how the colored threads just make those subtle highlights of interest. Okay, moving on. Oh, here's another Hawaiian one. We're in the hand quilted section. I'll zoom in on some more hand quilting for those of you that love doing that. And I grew up doing hand quilting. I can appreciate good hand quilting when I see it. Okay, wait till you see this next one. The hand quilting on this is not to be believed. Look at this. Look at this. That's a little 1/2-inch crosshatch right there. And these are 1/4-inch spaced lines. And it is so beautifully done, and it so just suits the quilt. That gorgeous medallion. All right, going around the corner. Let's see what we've got here. There's a few abstracts along this wall. We're back to machine quilting now. Look at the color. So I'm going to pan around and then I'm going to go close up on one that I think you'll really love to see. I know, I'm really moving quickly. Each one is more amazing than the one before, but this one I got to hear a bit of the story of too. This is hand applique. And the story she tells is that she originally made the quilt and had it quilted by a long armer and wasn't happy with it and deconstructed it and started again and then quilted it at a domestic machine. But look at the shading of her blues. Isn't that amazing? And we'll zoom in a little bit on some of the quilting. It's beautifully done too. And she used a slightly contrasting thread, so kind of that tan. It looks very yellow there, but in real life it's quite tan, those little stripes. So there's tan thread on the blue, and then blue thread on the cream. And it's not a really stark difference, but it does make it stand out. It looks a little like embroidery. You can see the effect of the blue on the tan there. And her applique is just stunning. All right, and here's another one with some different techniques I'd like to show you. Isn't that great? And all of that is little bias strips appliqued on. All this intricate work down here, all little bias strips interwoven. More applique. Beautiful stuff. Boo. Okay, let's see what else we can find. There's a name for this and I can't think of it off the top of my head, where you cut fabric motifs, like a whole motif out of fabric and applique it on. That's what's on this quilt, and it's really, really striking. Medallion style. And look at some of her detail in the borders. The little daisies, the little purple beading. So incredibly detailed. I mean, this quilt is just a work of art. The pink beading around that central medallion area, that looks like a Beth Ann Nemish style beading. So striking. Stained glass. That one's all about the stained glass. It does not have highly detailed quilting. It's all about the color. And it does look indeed like a lit stained glass window. Wool applique. And by the way, all these quilts are sort of roped off, so you can only get so close to them. So I'm doing the best I can at showing you some details. This one is hand quilted again. Can you see that gorgeous crosshatch? I don't know if you noticed, but particularly with hand quilting, a crosshatch is most frequently done on the bias, on the diagonal. My mother taught me that at her knee. It shows up much better if you quilt along the straight of grain. The stitches kind of lie among the threads and don't look like a straight line, and they look the best and the plumpest and show off the best when they're on the diagonal, and that's usually how you see crosshatching done, actually. This one, deep and rich colors. Quite a bit of this looks like machine applique to me. And actually I've seen a fair bit of machine applique here. I think that's all machine done. Gorgeous. How long have we been? 12 minutes. We'll keep going a little bit yet. I'm seeing your comments come in. I'm not really reading them because I'm trying to hold my camera steady. I'll go back and read them afterwards. But I hope you're enjoying this. It's just jaw-dropping to see the variety of quilts that are here. Again, I'm just showing you a tiny corner, a tiny, tiny fraction of the quilts that are here. There are sports quilts, there are portraits, there are historical. There's one large one, and I'm a long way from it, unfortunately, that represents women gaining the vote, and it's got snapshots of women from all different time periods appliqued into the same quilt as though they're kind of in the town square, and it's just amazing. There's a huge banner one, and I might get to it, from Australia. I'll try and get to that one. We'll close with that one. How's that? Here's another one that will show up well on camera because it's light colored. Look at that beautiful quilting, and again, that depth is added from quilting with yellow thread. And it's subtle, and it just adds this three-dimensional look to it. I would say machine appliqued all of that. Machine quilted. Just beautifully done. By Yuko Kawakami. This one is Linda Goodjohn. I haven't told you all the names. I'm sorry. I should be doing that to give these wonderful quilters credit for each of their quilts. This one has a ribbon. Third place applique. This is another hand quilted. Let me give you the big picture view. Hard to capture the real color in this one. Looks a bit yellower on the screen than it is in real life, but it's a deep citrony sort of green. Hand quilting again. Look at that cross hatching. Hand applique. Look at those little leaves. Beautiful. Wool. Some pretty embellishment. Look at that. And then I'll just pan a little bit. There's a whole red and white section in the center. So, so beautiful. And then we're gonna head toward this Australian banner, and we're gonna pass the Cherrywood exhibit of the monarch butterflies on the way. I'm being as steady as I can, you guys. I know lots of us have seen the elephant quilts, but have we ever seen it done monochromatic, just in reds? Isn't that awesome? Flying Fiesta by Jackie Hillman. Let me zoom in on this a little so you can get a bit of a glimpse of the monarch display. So this is the Cherrywood display, and it's huge. We bring a Cherrywood display into my hometown, Spokane, Washington, but portions of it, it's kind of divided up and travels around the country. But here in Houston, we get the whole thing. There are dozens and dozens and dozens of them. We've got to go look at one or two. I'm just picking one at random. Michelle Watts, Jenny Turchek. I gotta zoom out a little bit. There we go. Patty Triple. And it goes on and on and on. So many. Okay, we've come to the Australian banner. And I'll have to tell you her name when I get to the other end. This lady fabric painted and quilted this entire banner during COVID. She was stuck at home, you know how we all were. Look at that. It's huge. It's got to be 22, 24 feet long. We'll zoom in on a few of the details. Let's look at the turtles. Isn't that something? My Australia, sponsored by Taylor Seville, made by Helen Godden. And I'll give you another look at it, and I'll back up a little so we can kind of get the whole picture in, or most of the picture in. And you can get an idea of the size of it. It's enormous. And I'll walk along it and say my goodbyes as I go. It's about time for me to be getting into the Bernina booth and to work. So, thanks so much for joining me, you guys. I hope you've enjoyed this very brief but very beautiful glimpse of the Houston Quilt Festival 2023. Have a great day, and I'll check in with you again next time.